Birth and death are funny things. People end, they stop, they die. I'm not sure how to put it more bluntly. But the echoes of their life lives on without them, in the memories of the people they meet. A little snapshot of their existence contained within another's brain. And then the way we change people. Our parents help define who we are, our teachers, our friends. Without them, we wouldn't be who we are. And even when they're gone, we still have that part of them in us. And then we change the people we meet. And so on and so forth, the echoes of life live on, even if the one that it started with is long gone. You even can get quite clear glimpses of people that have died possibly hundreds or even thousands of years ago in the text they've written. I mean, it's kind of shocking that you can read a book of some poor soul that died forever ago, but their words are still there, clear as day. It's quite the sight. Oh my. Today, something new will be born. It's your, beautiful baby Bonnie. I hope you take good care of her. You bring Bonnie home swaddled in soft blankets. You set her delicately down in her crib. She quietly begins to cry. Oh shit, baby crying. What do you do? Turn up the TV and give her a soft toy. Give her a soft... You plonk down next to her a little plush bunny rabbit. She seems mildly entranced by it. For a second it seems like true love at first sight. But then she proceeds to insert the bunny's face directly into her mouth. For a second you think about taking it away, but she's utterly content. Just chewing on that poor rabbit's face. Hey, if it works, it works. The next few years are comprised mostly of crying and pooping, and considering that I'm not a sadist, I'm not going to subject you to that. So I hope you don't mind, but there may be an itty-bitty time skip. It's a wonderful spring day. The sun feels warm on your skin. There's a soothing breeze carrying the smells of flowers and newly blooming life. It's a perfect day to go on a walk with your little Bonnie. As you peacefully stroll along, a little white rabbit jumps out in front of you. Bonnie is simply overjoyed and reaches out towards it. But the next second, there's a sickening screech, and the rabbit is now airborne, being held in fierce talons, piercing through its flesh, staining its white fur so very, very, very red. As the hawk swoops off into the distance, Bonnie looks up at you, tears in her eyes. What do you do? You hear the sound of a faint...
Survival of the fittest, motherfuckers! Get that flop!
Please don't cry. I know it's sad, but hawks have to eat. Oh, don't worry your little head about anything. That little rabbit always wanted to know how it feels to fly, so his friend Mr. Hawk, you yell, "Who wants ice cream?" in an attempt to drown your child's sorrows in sugary treats. The ways to deal with worries, sadness, negative thoughts and feelings is to eat copious amounts of ice cream. Not a good lesson to teach your child, but you're too busy eating copious amounts of ice cream to really worry about something like that. You see Bonnabelle looking up at you, beaming, her face and hands a rainbow smudge of chalky marks. In her hand, she tightly clutches a scrunched piece of paper. She raises it up in triumph. It appears to be an incomprehensible mess of scribbles. A mess of overlapping chalky colours. You assume it's a deep, postmodern representation of the human soul. But Bonnabelle informs you that it is a dinosaur.
How back away in terror, letting out an ear-piercing
I'm really sorry, Bunny, but it just looks like scribbles to me. Very postmodern. I see you're clearly taking inspiration from the school. Bonnie has no idea what you just said, and to be honest, you don't either. Dad, Are slugs jealous of snails? It's just snails have those little houses on top of their backs, and slugs don't. It's just unfair. They don't have a place to hide and curl up in, or a nice place to sleep when it's cold outside. It just doesn't seem very nice. Considering the evolutionary viability of both of them, I don't think either of them are better off. I mean, slugs and snails have been around for thousands and thousands of years. I know, it is sad. Wait, when we get home we can make some little shells for them so they can all be safe and snug. The aesthetic effect is quite interesting, considering all the snails in your garden now look like they've just rolled out of a Mad Max movie. And judging from how much your mailman started swearing when he accidentally trod on one the other day, Bonnie's method is quite effective. I like slugs. I like slugs too. You and Bonnibel have had a long day wandering around the great outdoors, peeping at wildlife. As you sleepily wander home, the sun already setting, the sky a dark blue, the last traces of light saying goodbye to the world. From the shadows, you hear a sickening crunch. Oh God, no. No, I didn't mean to. Out of the darkness, you see a poor, crushed little snail under Bonnibel's foot. Bonnie, I know it's bad now, but we can learn from our mistakes. Next time we go out, we can bring a flashlight, so if it gets dark, we can it's only a snail. I know. It's only a snail. Oh, sweet Pete. Going to Bonnie, we are higher life forms. You didn't mean it. It was an accident. It was a horrible thing to happen. When we make the slug shells, let's make them out of titanium, so it'll be super, super, super hard, and if they're trod on, they'll be chilled, they'll be fine, it'll be all good. Titanium shells, need it now. That thing, we do, yep. It is the dead of night, and you hear a door slowly creak open. There's a small, scared voice. There's a monster under my bed. Bonnie, everything is okay, it's just a nightmare. Sometimes our imaginations just get a bit out of hand. I promise you, everything is okay. Bonnie looks back up to you, tears in her eyes. Bonnie tries to go back to bed, but ends up waking up another 3 times because of night terrors. You eventually decide to sit next to her bed until she falls asleep to guard her from imaginary monsters. But imaginary or not, they're causing Bonnie quite the plight. You feel a bit silly standing on guard for non-existent creatures, but hey, Bonnie getting a good night's sleep is far more important than your fear of feeling a little silly. The air is cold, the sky is dark, spooks and monsters abound, creeping through every shadow, with one thought burning in their minds.
Holy shit, we're gonna eat a ton of sweets.
Bonnie's face is pressed up against our living room window, looking out at the majesty of Halloween. Spooks, ghouls and ghosties abound, and princesses. For some unexplicable reason, princesses. I don't know why, don't fit with the theme. Don't make sense. Why? That's aside the point. And on this fateful day, you have the chance to choose what particular spook, ghosty or ghoul your little Bonnibel will dress up as. Bonnie dressed up as a snail. She rejected the perfectly good costume you picked out for her, and presented one, well, she made herself, out of a cardboard box and copious amounts of green sludge of inexplicable origin. Bonnie was nothing but dedicated to her performance as a slug. Due to this, she moved at a very, very slow pace. One so slow, the first house she arrived to, well, had run out of candy. All the other trick-or-treaters got there first. And all the subsequent houses had the exact same problem. Bonnie was more than a little rejected, so you decided to buy her a lot of ice cream. You both decided to spend the evening watching nature documentaries about slugs before passing out on your sofa,
fully stuffed with the cream of the ice.
It's a lovely autumn day. Orange leaves gently drift along in the cold breeze. Once again, you're going for a walk with Bonnie. It feels peaceful. You feel quite content, numb to the world. Bonnie is happily skipping beside you. You can't even feel the cold breeze on your face. Everything's fine. Wait, you can't feel the cold breeze on your face. It's like November, you should probably be able to feel that. Your arm doesn't seem to move. You realise that the soothing sensation of numbness, it felt quite calming at first. But now you can't feel your body. All the sensations you've lived your whole life with. The feeling of air rushing in and out your lungs, your heartbeat, your clothes on your skin. They were so omnipresent. It just faded to the background. You forgot about them, but now it's gone. Its absence makes you feel so empty. You begin to slowly topple backwards. For a second you worry you'll hurt yourself when you hit the ground, but you remember at this point your body seems not to be capable of feeling anything, let alone pain. You look up at the sky, your vision beginning to fuzz. There's a face, someone above you, someone you really should remember. Their mouth is moving as if they're yelling, shouting, calling it, but you can't seem to hear anything. You attempt to speak, to try and soothe that distressed soul. You try to speak, but somehow you can't manage to get the words out. You desperately try, repeating it over and over in your head, but in the end, there's only silence. The last experience you'll ever have is that single thought. At least I got to spend my final moments with you. It's funny, I thought I love you. It's all going to be okay. I don't want to leave. It's all going to be okay. You hear a faint cry off in the distance, but suddenly the cries are not so distant. A wave of noise hits you, cackling, hooting, screaming. You can't tell whether the makers of the sound are going through the most sensual joy or the worst pain you could imagine. You open your eyes, the noise suddenly stops. You see strange figures in front of you, small, carrying a mixture of hope and fear on their twisted faces. One slowly creeps towards you, and it appears to attempt to bow, even though its body seems rather unsuited to the position. It splutters out. Please, please, save us. The world is big and scary, but now you're here. Everything will be okay. You can protect us from the monsters at night and feed us when we're hungry. Teach us what's the difference between right and wrong. Please, we beg you. The one who fell from the stars. Help us. Help us. What the fuck is happening? They appear to have set up some sort of feast to celebrate the coming of their new saviour. They seem to be happily chirping to each other in some sort of strange alien song, passing small cups of dirty water around, as if they were wine, and happily munching on something that can be charitably described as very, very stale bread. For a second they all freeze.
Meat, the manliest of meals. No meat, vegetarianism for life. If you don't go green, any food is good food. But I like food. Give me food. Pizza! Any food is good food. No meat. Any food is good food. I like food.
Considering that you can produce far more food exclusively farming plants than farming plants and animals, and these guys look like they need to get the most food they possibly can. Also, these guys don't look up to hunting. And thankfully cabbages don't fight back, so it should be a safer option.
On top of the ground. Underground.
On treehouse.
Trees sound good. It should be difficult for prey to get them at such a height, and if this area is ever at risk of flood, they should be safe. Their homes are up in the sky, so no need to worry about water making them die. Sorry, I'm happy with my rhymes. Also, a big plus, if there are fruit trees, their house literally gives them snacks, which sounds like a big bonus to me.
Suddenly, your little world becomes very, very still. The details begin to blur and fuzz over. There's a mind-breakingly loud noise, like shattering glass, but replicated 1,000 times over. Everything's dark. Everything's pitch black. You can't see. Your little monster friends are running around in blind panic, with as little on earth of a clue as what's happening as you currently have.
What the fuck do you think you're doing?
Okay, with an intro like that, I'm pretty sure I should be the one asking the questions.
Wait a second. Did I appear in a flash of lightning? What the hell is wrong with my hands? If you gave me dark eyeliner, by God, I'm slapping the hell out of us when we wake up. The evil apparition stares at you with fierce intensity. Oh, fuck no! The narrator did not just call me evil looking. I am not the bad guy here. Oh, God, what are these meant to be? You're too old to be playing with dolls. What the fuck do you think you're doing?
The monster looks down with sheer disgust at the little creatures scurrying around in blind panic at its feet.
This is not how we're meant to deal with this situation.
It stamps down hard like an exterminator on a particularly annoying cockroach. One of the tiny being's bodies explodes beneath the weight of its foot. Its splattered remains begin to ooze gently across the floor. The helpless little creatures begin to cry and shriek, "Please stop it!" Before the despicable monster can say another word, you raise your hand. Shoot it with your super cool laser powers. Convince it to atone for its evil ways.
Ignore it.
Convince it to atone for its evil ways. How? How could you possibly kill such innocent creatures? It did nothing to you. The horrific beast replies, "It is nothing." Before freezing, a robotic voice materializes out of the air. It appears to be coming from the monster, but its lips are not moving. "Oh my God, you are so right. I could be blind to the truth of my sins. I shall go to super evil murder jail, where I belong." And with a pop, the creature disappears. The little creatures begin to cheer. "Hooray! You banished the monster. Oh my God, I know you were awesome before, but you're so awesome, I can't describe it. So I'll just make random noises and hope it does it justice." You saved us from the monsters, from the bad place. The bad place is a place from the monsters came, which is bad, so if the monsters came from it, the monsters would be bad. Well, if it came from the bad place, it being bad goes without saying, because bad stuff comes from the bad place, which is bad. Bad, 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 it's bad, bad, bad. It's just very, 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 very not nice. We're so terribly scared. More things will crawl out of there. They come. They ruin everything. Please, make them go quiet. Such a divine thing as you could surely stop such terrible things from happening. You could stop anything bad from happening. Please. Why me? Please. Why me? No, you can't make me. Please. Why me? Please. Why me? No. Go to bad place. So you decide to go. No, I don't. So you decide to go. No, I do not. So you decide to go. No, And now you're there. All your charming little creatures are gone. All your creations, from their homes to the bountiful food you gave them. There's none of it. There's nothing. You can't keep me out forever. You can't keep us out. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a game you can win. The world happens around you, and no matter how much you cry or pretend, tears won't change it. They're gone. They'll be gone forever. It's just life. In life, there's no saving point. There are no second chances. In the end, it will always be a game over. Do you feel them? The seconds passing by like sand in an hourglass. And you decided to spend the few you have with me. I have to say, I am quite flattered. But really, you can do better. You could be out there changing the world for the better, making lifelong friends, falling in love, being an Olympian, a great scientist, but no! You decide to spend the time fucking with me. You realise the longer you're listening to me, the more time you waste. But no, you just keep on sitting there, listening to my dumb voice. Do you have any idea how much time you've wasted already? Time that you'll never get back. But no, you decided to spend it here with me. I'm doing what I can. We're all human. We can't work 24/7. We're not machines. Sometimes we have to take time for ourselves to slow down, to think about the world, play games, watch a film, maybe just enjoy thinking about nothing at all for a change. We're human, we're imperfect. Not every one of us can become a Nobel Prize winner or gain an Olympic medal. But we're doing all we can. And in the end, that's enough. Suddenly, you're back. Your little monster friends surround you, celebrating. You did it. You actually did it. You're amazing. You destroyed the Heart of Darkness and you came out the other side. It's okay now. You're safe. Nothing can stop you or hold you back. You can be here forever. You can be whatever you want to be. A king, a queen, a god. As long as you're here, you can do anything. You can take care of us. Teach us new things. Comfort us when we have nightmares. Give us silly costumes to wear. As long as you're here, you're safe. The world begins to dissolve around you, like paint starting to run in the rain. You don't know if you chose the right thing. Alice had to leave Wonderland. Sometimes a fantasy can be the only thing keeping a fragile soul alive. But if you stay there forever, you can never truly live. The world melts away. You awake to a blinding light, with the realization that your imagination can get out of hand sometimes. You decide to channel that energy into something more positive. A few attempts and one very jammed paper shredder later, you decide to combine your logical mind and your imagination to design fancy worlds that make logical sense, where the reason all dwarves are male is simply that human culture cannot comprehend that male and female dwarves look identical and treat each other identically. The books end up being hailed as a feminist masterpiece, breaking down our cultural understanding of gender to its core and most fundamental components. You just wanted to write a book about dwarves, but hey, you're all with it. Many, many books later, and many, many completely accidental accomplishments, the Book of the Rise of the Elves was not about Nazis and the Holocaust. It was about fancy pointy-eared people. How the fuck did people read into that like that? Holy cow. And now, you sit in your office, filled with crumpled papers, and wondered if your life mattered. You did manage to make some people happy, and inspire and spark the imagination, intentionally or not. If you were to think of the worth of your life mathematically, did me being alive make the world a happier place, even if it was to a small amount? Yes, in the end. At least I can say that. Hello, this is the music credits. The music for the first half of the game was done by a person called Grace Melody, or on Twitter, their name is Grace with an exclamation mark and @power 464646, and they're very, very, very talented, and they deserve, so much more attention than they do. It's really weird when you come across a musician, it's like, they're so cool, but it's like, why aren't you, famous yet? Dude, you're so good at this stuff. Highly recommend looking them up. And the other person who did the music in the second half of the game is called Chili, and his Twitter thing is Chili Makes Music with @Chili/tweets, and he is also really, really, really effing talented. Oh my god, I love his stuff. Really, really do. Oh my. I would really, really recommend looking both of them up. It would mean a lot to me, and I know it would mean a lot to them. They're awesome, and they deserve all the loves. Bye bye. Hope you have a wonderful day.